Hello student. Here we are going to start with a new topic called sound. Yes, sound is a form of energy. You hear the sound? Did you hear the sound of vehicles? You hear the sound from the utensils, from many of the things. But how does this sound travel? How does the sound travel? Don't you get this question? Yes, sound travel due to the presence of molecule present inside the matter. You know, sound is being produced by the solid, liquid and gas. It is having a different speed for the different substance. But before that, I will go with the topic for the sound. How does the sound is being caused? How is the sound caused? So, sound is being produced due to the presence of molecule inside a matter. In a solid, liquid and gas. All is being consist of a matter. And this matter is being consist of a molecule. What happened to this molecule? This molecule disturbs the other molecule. That means it is vibrating. This molecule get vibrate and just transfer the energy to the other molecule. And henceforth, there is a transfer of energy taking place in a sound. So, to define a sound, how to define a sound? Sound is a form of energy which give sensation to hear. Sound is a form of energy which gives sensation to hear. So it is also one of the form of energy. But how does the sound is being produced? Sound is being produced due to the vibration of molecule. Sound is being produced due to the vibration of molecule. Now the question is, then how does the sound travel? Do the sound travel in a vacuum? No. Why? Because it required a medium for the propagation. For the traveling of a sound, we required a medium. Means we required the molecule. The sound required a molecule to transfer its energy. Now, in which way does the sound travel? Sound travel in two types of wave. One is the transfer wave and the other one is the longitudinal wave. These are the two ways in which sound travel. Speaking about the transfer wave. The transfer wave, the particle of a medium vibrate perpendicular to the direction of the source of sound. Means, suppose the sound is in this direction. Sound produced is in this direction. The particle of the medium vibrate up and down. The particle of medium vibrate up and down to the direction of sound. So this is that is in a transfer wave. The particle of a medium vibrate perpendicular to the source of sound in a transfer wave, forming crest and throat. The upper portion is known as the crest and the lower is known as the throat. This is about the transfer wave. In a longitudinal wave, the particle of a medium vibrate parallel to the direction of sound. The particle of a medium vibrate parallel to the direction of sound, forming compression where the molecules are very close. That is called as a compression, and where the molecules are far away, it is called as a rarefaction. So we are having the two sort of wave in which the sound travel. Sound travel in a transfer wave as well as in a longitudinal wave. Particle of a medium vibrate perpendicular to the source of sound in a transfer wave, and the particle of a medium transfer parallel to the direction of a sound in a longitudinal wave. These are the two sources of sound. Yes, children, sound required a medium for the propagation. If in a medium, if there is no molecule present in a medium, then no sound is being produced. For example, in a vacuum, yes, as we have studied, the sound is being produced due to the vibration of a molecule. Henceforth, it required a medium for the propagation. Means, from this it is being clear that sound is not produced in a vacuum because it required a medium for propagation. Medium having a molecule will vibrate and henceforth the sound is being produced. So, sound, how does the sound travel? Sound travel in a different medium is different. For example, sound travel in a solid is greater as compared to liquid as compared to gas, because as in a solid the medium, that is the molecules are compressly packed, so the speed, that is the sound, the speed of the sound in a solid is more because the molecules are compressly packed. Whereas in liquid, the molecules are very little bit far away. They are not too compressly packed. Not too compressly packed. And here the molecules are far apart. So, while transferring the energy of a sound, it takes place in a solid is more because they are very close to each other. Liquid they are far, so the transfer of energy will be slow. That's the reason the speed of the sound in a solid is about 5,000 meter per second, whereas in liquid it is about 1,400 meter per second, whereas in a gases it is about 330 to 340 meter per second. So this varying takes place due to the speed, due to the presence of molecule in a matter. You will notice it out that in a vacuum, the speed, that is in a vacuum, the sound doesn't travel because there is no molecule present over there. So for the propagation of sound, molecule is it is compulsory. If the molecule is being present over there, then only the sound can travel. So from this it is being clear to you that is the sound required a medium for propagation. Yes friend, now we are going to study about the terms related to the sound wave. In the term related to the sound wave, we are done. This is the transfer wave. I have taken the transfer wave, that is, and here this is the displacement, and it has been related to the time. Okay, so here we have, what is the first term we are going to take? It is the frequency. First term I am going to start with is the frequency. So frequency is the number of wave completed in 1 second, or number of vibration completed in 1 second is known as the frequency. Frequency is number of vibration completed in 1 second is known as the frequency. It is denoted by F or N. It is denoted by F or N. Its SI unit is hertz, which is we used to write Hz, which we used to write as a Hz. So what is the, this is the number, that is a frequency. Frequency is the number of waves completed or number of vibration completed in 1 second is known as the frequency. Next term is the amplitude. Next term we are having is the amplitude. So amplitude bottom also. The maximum displacement of a wave from either side of its mean position is known as its amplitude. That is, the maximum displacement of a wave from either side of its mean position. Side of its mean position is known as the amplitude. It is denoted by A, and its SI unit is meter. SI unit is meter. So children, I come to know what is, I hope so you have come to know what is an amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a wave from either side of its mean position. Next is the term called as the time period. So time period is time taken by the wave to complete one wave. Time taken by a wave to complete, time taken by a particular wave to complete one wave. Time taken to complete one wave. Time taken by a particle to complete one wave is called as a time period. Next is the time period. It is time taken by a wave to complete, time taken to complete one wave. Time taken to complete one wave is called as a time period. It is denoted by T. You can write capital T or as well as a small t also. Its SI unit is second. So time taken to complete one wave. This is the one wave. So what time is being required to complete that one wave is called as a time period. Time taken by a wave to complete it, that is called as a time period. Next is we are speaking about the time period and the frequency. They are inversely proportional to each other. Time, that is the time, and frequency, they are inversely proportional to each other. F is inversely proportional to T and T is inversely proportional to F. They are inversely proportional to each other. Next is the wavelength. The last term that is related, it is the wavelength. So wavelength is, that is, we can say the distance between the two consecutive crust, or the two consecutive crust, or rather two consecutive throw is known as a wavelength. The distance between two consecutive crust or throw or compression or rarefaction is known as wavelength. So speaking about it, the distance between the two consecutive crust or the two consecutive throw is known as the wavelength. It is being denoted by lambda, lambda having a symbol as inverse of y. It is a symbol of lambda. Okay, and its SI unit is meter, because it is a distance, so its SI unit is meter. Okay children, so we are studied with the terms related to the sound wave. Here are the 4 terms we have taken. We have taken the amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a wave from either side of its mean position. That is called as an amplitude. Its SI unit is meter. Second, frequency. Frequency is the number of waves completed in 1 second. Number of waves completed in 1 second is called as the frequency. Third, it is the time period. Time taken by a wave time taken to complete one wave is called as a time period. Its SI unit is second. And the fourth one is the wavelength. The distance between wavelength is what? The distance between the two consecutive crust, throw, compression or the rarefaction. That is called as a wavelength. It is having a symbol called as a lambda, and its SI unit is meter. This we have completed. Now we are going to take about the characteristic of sound. Yes children, now we are going to start about the characteristic of sound. So as I said earlier that the sound, if the two sounds are there of a different source, we can recognize the two sound by its characteristic. What are that characteristic? We are going to study one by one. So first characteristic is the loudness. It is the loudness or intensity. Second is the pitch or frequency. And the third one, it is the quality or timbre. So here we are going to speak one by one all the characteristics of sound. So first let us start. These are the 3 characteristics of sound. It is the loudness and intensity, second is the pitch and the frequency, and third is the quality or timbre. Let's start with the first one. So first is the loudness or intensity. So speaking about the loudness and intensity, loudness or the intensity is the amount, it is the amount of energy per unit area per second. That is, if I say, if the energy of the sound is more, then the loudness is more. Amount of energy of a sound is more, then the loudness is more. So what is the intensity? It is the amount of energy per unit area per second. That is called as the intensity of a sound. So you might have been observed that the people who are becoming older age, that is when we try to speak it out to the old age people, they won't be able to hear easily, because as we find it out, we have to speak in front of them, we have to speak it loudly. That means our energy, we have to increase it, and if we increase the energy, then they will be able to hear, right? That means we are increasing the loudness. If we are increasing the loudness, that is, if you are increasing the energy, the loudness is also increases. So that is, loudness and intensity depend upon the certain factor. First factor, it depend upon the amplitude. It depend upon the amplitude. So here is the wave. Here is a sound wave having a certain amplitude. Okay. Here is a sound wave having a certain amplitude. This amplitude, first wave and the second wave having an amplitude in this way. You'll find, what do you notice over here? The amplitude present over here is greater as compared to the amplitude present in the second one. So from this, that is, the sound produced in the first wave will be more louder as compared to the sound produced in the second wave. Sound produced in the first wave will be more louder as compared to the sound produced in the second wave. The reason is that the amplitude of the first wave is greater as compared to the amplitude of the second wave. Greater the amplitude, greater is the loudness of a sound. Okay, so that means the loudness depend upon, loudness is directly proportional to the amplitude square. Loudness is directly proportional to the amplitude square. This is the first factor of the loudness. Second factor, it depend upon the surface area. Surface area. Loudness depend upon the surface area. For example, if I start vibrating the sound over here, I hope so you are able to hear a good sound. You are able to hear a good sound. Secondly, I am starting to vibrate over here. What do you notice in the two sound? You notice that the area of the board is greater. Area of the board is greater. Therefore, the vibration is greater. Whereas the second, where I take it, I have a small stable. I just started to vibrating. The sound produced in that stable, the surface area is less. Surface area is less. The sound produced in that area is less. So, larger the surface area, larger is the loudness of sound. Loudness of a sound is directly proportional to surface area. It is directly proportional to the surface area. More the surface area, more is the loudness of a sound. Third factor, it depends upon the source of the sound. That is the source of sound. Distance between the source of sound. Distance between source of sound. That means if you are closer to the source of a sound, you will be able to hear loudly. If you are far away from the source of a sound, you will be able to hear slowly. That is how the relation it is. It is inversely proportional to the source of the sound. Means if the source of the sound is very close, the loudness will increase. If the source of the sound is very far away, the loudness decreases. So, loudness is inversely proportional to the distance between the source of a sound. It is inversely proportional to the distance between the source of a sound. Loudness is inversely proportional to the distance between the source of the sound. And the last factor which I am going to write it over here, last factor, that is about the density of the source substance. It is depend upon the density of a substance. Density of a substance. So, as I speak about the density, if it is a solid or if a solid is being compressed, it is very packed solid, you will find the molecules are very close. That means the loudness, the vibration produced in that substance will be more. Therefore, the sound produced in that substance will be more. The loudness is directly proportional to the density of a substance. Loudness is directly proportional to the density of a substance. It is directly proportional to the density of a substance. More the denser the substance, more is the louder the sound. More the denser the substance is there, more is the louder the sound. So speaking about the loudness, it is having the four characteristic, that four factors on which the loudness of a sound depend. It depend upon the amplitude, it depend upon the surface area, it depend upon the distance between the source of the sound, and as well as it depend upon the density of a substance. It depend upon the density of a substance. So this all points, I hope so it is being clear. Next, speak about the pitch. Speaking of the pitch of the sound, it is also a characteristic of a sound, that is which differentiate the two sound. So let's start for the pitch of the sound. These are the two sound. See children, here are the two sounds, that is the characteristic of a sound which is differentiate due to its frequency. That is the pitch of the sound, or we can say or the frequency of the sound, which can be differentiated by its frequency. You can find it out in the two cases. In these two cases you can find it out that the first case you will find there is a less frequency, as in the second case you can find it having the more frequency. So pitch of the sound, that is the sound which can be differentiate the two sound by its frequency, So that is a shrill sound. The sound which is having a highest frequency is the shrill sound, and the sound which is having the low frequency is called as a harsh sound. You can find it here, the frequency is less, whereas compared to the second case you can find it out having the higher frequency. You can find here the frequency, number of vibration is more as compared to this one, right? The sound produced in B is higher, that is a shrilling sound. The sound produced in the B is a shrilling sound because the number of frequency in this is more. Number of frequency is in this is more. So the sound with a higher frequency, higher frequency is shriller sound, and the sound with low frequency is a flatter sound. It's a flat sound, or we can say it is a harsh sound. It is a harsh sound. You can find out, basically you might have observed that the girl sound is a more shriller as compared to the boy. That means the number of vibration taking place in the girl's vocal cord is more as compared to the boys. The girls are producing the sound with a higher frequency, whereas the boys are producing the sound with a lower frequency. Although both the waves produced are there, it is having the same amplitude, still the sound in the girls you will find it is a higher, that is the frequency is high, that's the reason they are having the shrilling sound. The third characteristic is the quality or the timbre. That is the third characteristic of a sound is the quality or a timbre. So see, this is the wave having amplitude. Okay, this is a wave of one particle. This is the wave of the different instrument. Okay children, here are the two waves present over here. We are having this, although they are having the same amplitude. You can find it out. These two waves are having the same amplitude. They are having the same amplitude, but there is a differ in their frequency. You can find there is a differ in the form of wave. You can find this wave is more pointer, whereas this wave is a flatter one. This wave is a flatter one. You can find it out. This wave is more pointer. That is, it's different forms of wave we got it. For example, if I just close your eyes and I play two instruments at a time. I play a sitar as well I play a guitar. What do you notice? Can you recognize both the sound? Yes, you will recognize, because different instrument it will be producing a different sort of a wave. That's the reason these two waves are producing a different form of a wave. Different form of a wave. These two instruments are producing a different form of wave. That from that we can recognize the two instruments separately. So quality or a timbre, it's differ, although the part that is the instrument having the same amplitude, same frequency, but still it differ due to its waveform. It is differ due to its waveform. So Here, these are the three characteristics of a sound wave which can be differentiated from each other due to its waveform. Okay, so first one is the loudness, third one is the pitch, and the second one is the pitch, and the third one is the quality or a timbre. Quality or timbre depend upon the waveform of a different instrument. You can find it out in your class also. Different students just try to speak at a time. Still you can recognize the voice of your friend and the other friend. Yes, can you? Yes, you can recognize, because different child, each and every child is having a different sort of a waveform, or we can say the sound is being produced in different form. From that you can recognize it. I hope so it is being clear. All the three characteristics of a sound is being clear to you. Right. After completing the characteristic of a sound, now we are going to speak about the music as well as the noise. So what is the music? Don't you like the music to hear? Yes, I hope so. Everyone like to hear the music. Why? The reason is music is a sound which give a pleasant effect to hear. After hearing a sound, it produces a pleasant effect. What about the class? That what about the noise which you find it out? Noise is an unpleasant sound. Noise is an unpleasant sound, that is which create an irritation after hearing. Just as there is a sound of an vehicle, that is a horn of an vehicles, or rather disturbance in the class, right? Or even the you can find it out completely that there is a sound of irritating sound of an construction site, right? What happened? Do you feel very happy to hear this sound? No. Why? Because they produce an irregular waveform. That is, the sound produced by the sound is irregular. It is that is a irregular disturbance. There is an vibration produced in a noise is an irregular form, whereas a vibration produced in a music, it is in a regular form. That is the reason it gives a pleasant effect. It gives a pleasant effect, whereas it gives an unpleasant effect. Because here you will find it out, it is the vibration here is an irregular. Vibration is irregular, whereas you can notice it out, there is a regular vibration. There is a regular vibration in a musical sound. Musical sound, for that is from a sitar and guitar, you enjoy listening those sound because there is a regular vibration produced in it. Okay, so these are the difference between the noise and a sound, noise and a music. Music is an unpleasant sound we don't like to hear, because that the waveforms, or that we can see the vibration is irregular. That's the reason we feel we won't feel happy to hear those sound. Okay children, last part of it I'm going to take. Yes children, after speaking about the music and sound, we are going to speak about the musical instrument. So children, as we know, music is being produced by many things. Perhaps there are certain musical instruments which give us a pleasant effect. So this musical instrument are being divided into four parts. Depend upon its thing. That is, we are having the wind instrument, we are having the string instrument, we are having the percussion instrument, and we are having the grid instrument. Okay, so let's speak about the musical instrument. See, music is being produced by many things, but they are being characterized in a four different parts. Wind instrument, that is, in a wind instrument, wind is being blown, or air is being blown in this instrument, and depend on its holes, that is the depend upon the length of its, the sound is being produced. That is, you'll find the different from the different notes of the sound is being produced in the wind instrument. The example of wind instrument, we are having flute, we are having the French horn. Second come the string instrument. string instrument, the sound is being produced or the music is being produced depend on the length of the string. Okay, so here we are having an example as sitar, guitar, even the violin. So this is an example of the string instrument. Next come the percussion instrument. In a percussion instrument, it depends upon the stretch membrane of the instrument. That is, it depends upon the stretch membrane of the instrument. When a force is applied, the membrane started vibrating. So example are tabla, dholak, even the drum. So these are the percussion instrument. It depends upon the membrane of an instrument. Last one, that is the reed instrument. In a reed instrument, a certain keys are being placed. When the air passes through it, it produces the sound. So here is an example. We are having the mouth organ, then the harmonium. So these are the 4 different musical instruments. I hope you have loved to hear these instruments, right? Okay. So just try to memorize this all the 4 types of musical instrument. Now we are going to start a topic called as an echo. Like light, there is also a sound that get reflected back when it strike on any of the surface, reflecting surface. We have studied about the light. When the light passes and it strike on any of the surface, it get bounces back. Similarly, when the sound is being falling on any of the reflecting surface, it get bounces back. So that is a reflection of sound is known as an echo. What is an echo? Echo is a reflection of sound. Echo is a reflection of sound. It is a phenomena when the sound when the sound get reflected back, that is called as an echo. But where do we get an echo? What happen when you try to speak in a long hall, empty hall? What happened? You will find it out that the sound get repeated back. When you are standing in an empty hall, when you try to speak, the sound get repeated back. You are able to hear the sound after some time. Why it happens so? Because when a source of a sound is being there produced and it strike on any of the reflecting surface, it bounces back. That bouncing back of a sound is called as an echo. Basically, we find it in an empty hall, we find it in a temple, we find it in a big building in a near the mountain area also. We have just heard it. Okay, why don't you find it in a small room? The answer is because the time period for formation of an echo, it should be 1/10 of its second. And to recall it, that is we required a certain time for the formation of an echo. Echo is the reflection of sound. Suppose this is a source of a sound. This is a source of a sound. A sound is being produced and this is a reflecting surface. When the sound reach to the reflecting surface, it bounces back. It bounces back. It bounces back. This bouncing back of sound is called as an echo. This bouncing back of sound is known as an echo. So for this formation of echo, it required 1/10 of a second. That is, we call it as 0.1 second. For the bounce, it required 1/10 of a second. We are going to speak about the condition for formation of echo. There are the certain condition for the formation of an echo. First, for formation of echo, one, the minimum distance for the echo formation is 17 meter. That is the reflecting surface, that is the reflecting surface should be at a 17 meter from the source. If the source of the sound is this one, the reflecting surface should be minimum at a 17 meter distance. Second condition we are going to have, second condition, that is intensity of a sound should be large enough. That means when a sound is being produced from any of the source, when it strikes to any of the reflecting surface, it should have a certain energy to come back to its original position. So the intensity of a sound, second condition, that is the intensity or the loudness of a sound should be large enough. Intensity or loudness of a sound should be large enough. That means when a source of a sound is being produced, when the sound is being produced from any source, its loudness should be more, that so that when it strikes on any of the reflecting surface, it should come back and it should be audible. Okay, when the source, this is the source of a sound, this is the source of a sound, and this is the reflecting surface. So when this source of a sound is being striking to this reflecting surface, after reflecting, it should have such an intensity or such a loudness that this sound should be audible to us. Okay, so this is the second point. And the third point is the size of the reflecting surface. The size of reflecting surface should be bigger as compared to the wavelength of sound. Should be large enough or a bigger as compared to the wavelength of light, wavelength of sound. That is the reflecting surface. Suppose this is a reflecting surface. This is a reflecting surface, and if a sound is being produced from any of the source, so this reflecting surface should be large enough so that when a sound strike on this surface, and it should reflect back from it. If a surface is very small, so this reflection of sound won't take place. So the third point is, the size of the reflecting surface. The size of this reflecting surface should be large enough so that after reflection, it should be able to come back. That is, sound should strike and it should come back from it. Okay, so these are the 3 points for the formation of an echo. Yes, children, some numericals have been asked basically on the echo. I'm going to take one of it. A question is, a boy fires a gun and hears a echo after 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, if he is at a distance 350 meter from the wall, calculate the velocity of a sound. Yes, children, the given over here, that is a boy fires a gun. This is a boy. He fires a gun and he hears an echo after 2 seconds. The sound he hears after 2 seconds. Okay, so time period is 2 seconds, and the distance is between the boy and the wall, it is given as 350. The distance is 350. Okay, we have to calculate the, that is the velocity of the sound. We have to calculate the velocity of the sound. So here we are going to find it out. You might be knowing that the sound, you might be knowing this, that the time period for this, if this is the wall, so distance, it traveled to twice the distance. Okay, the sound, it is really traveling in the twice the distance. So we are having the formula for the echo, that is, first of all let me write down the given. It is t, we are having 2 seconds, then distance we are having 350 meter. We need to find the velocity of the sound. We know that v is equal to 2d. The distance traveled by the sound is double, 2d upon t. Okay, so substitute the value. D is 350 upon 2. 2 get cancelled. So velocity of the sound is 350 meter per second. So velocity of the sound is 350 meter per second. In this way, you are going to solve the numericals of a sound. That is the numericals based on an echo. Okay, children. Next come, what you all hear the sound. You all hears the sound, that a sound, that is a loudness of a sound which a human being, normal human being can hear, that is from 10 decibel to 150 decibel. This is a normal sound which a human being can hear. Okay, and the second thing, why, one more question I want to ask you, why we are able to hear, that is we are able to see the lighting, that is of a thunderstorm first, and then we are able to hear the sound. The reason is that the light, that is the speed of a light, speed of the light is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second, whereas the speed of the sound is 330 meter per second, which is very less as compared to the speed of the light. That's the reason during a thunderstorm we are able to see the lighting first, and then we are able to hear the thunderstorm sound. Okay, so in this way, many things happen. You might have finding out the, that is the fire cracking, which so basically in the air you might have find it out that lighting of the firecrackers will be seen first, and then the sound is being heard. The same application is being over there. That is, you might have observed that in a thunderstorm, that is the speed of the light is greater as compared to the speed of the sound. So these are all application, and next one more application is there about the echo. One of the application of echo is sonar. You might be worried, what is this sonar? Sonar is sound, navigation and ranging. This application is being used to find the depth of the sea. Basically, the people go on the voyage to find out the depth of the sea. This application is being used. So what happened in a sea? The people try to send an ultrasonic waves in the sea water. They send this ultrasonic wave. Ultrasonic wave are the high frequency wave. These waves are being sent it out. After striking to the surface, it get reflected back. Due to this, we can find the depth of the sea. So this application, that is a sonar application, is being used. This application is based on echo. Next come about the many animal use this application of echo. That is, they use this application such as bat. You might be knowing the bat don't have their eye. So How do they see? They produces the ultrasonic wave, and these ultrasonic waves strike on the obstacle on their path. When the bat is being passing out on the way, they produces this ultrasonic wave. If this ultrasonic wave strike on any of the reflecting surface, it comes back, and due to this, bat can identify that there is an obstacle or there is a prey. Or okay, so this application is also used even in a mom's fetus, that is in the mother fetus. This application is being used, so that is eco application is being used. Okay children, so many way the eco application is being used in many way. Some more application you are going to study in a further classes. Okay children, so just try to study this chapter. It's one of the interesting chapter and it is very useful. Try to score good marks. All the best for your exam. Thank you.